FIVEAA Mornings with Graeme Goodings.
And a very good morning to you at 8 minutes past 11.
Welcome to On the Road with Ned McHenry. Thanks to Travel Auctions.
Ned, good morning to you.
Good morning, Graeme. Always good to be here.
Yes. I don't know how you do it. You rise and shine. What time do you get up to do the early brekkie?
4 a.m.
4.
But I must say, now that we've done early breakfast and we have a lot of listeners doing different things, whether it's work or recreationally at that time of the morning, there are a lot of people up and at 'em at that time.
Isn't it surprising, the number of people that are up
I've
and
been
doing
shocked.
stuff? Yeah.
Absolutely shocked. Because initially, to be honest, Graeme, I probably thought it was going to be a lot of logistics people, like a lot of truck drivers and people doing freight and that kind of thing, and potentially people getting up early, to go to the gym. But there is a huge part of our state that just get up early in the morning for whatever reason, and they get going at that time of the morning. It's
and you're
extraordinary.
giving them a reason to get up early.
Well, I give them a reason to turn their radio off, probably, but we do our best.
Ned and Sam each morning on 5AA, 5 till 6, get up and enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, I must say. But we're not here to talk about that at the moment. It's Travel Auctions on the road. Where are we heading to today?
We're heading down to Mount Gambier, Graeme, which is a
lovely part of the world.
It is a good region, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is beautiful.
If we're
lush.
being completely honest with ourselves, right, and look, I'll do this at the fear of maybe saying something offensive, but is Mount Gambier an underrated regional city? It has a lot of connotations with certain things, Mount Gambier. Is that fair, or you might not want to lean into this? I think it's underrated, I think.
Look, I'd say it's underrated, but when you look at what the appeal and the attraction, it shouldn't be underrated.
I couldn't agree more. I think a lot of areas, get a lot of hype, for lack of a better word, but Mount Gambier is a bit of a sleeping giant, and it's got so many natural wonders, and I think the actual city itself, like the precinct at Mount Gambier, is just stunning. And for whatever reason, I do honestly think that maybe people have a little bit of oversight with that.
Yeah, no, I'd agree entirely. There is so much about Mount Gambier. You go there and there's so many things, like you're not just arriving at a big country town. There is just so many attractions and so many things that make it unique.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on top of a dormant volcano.
Yeah.
I mean, that for a start. Wow. Tell us the story. I mean, amazing.
Well, I think we're going to have the mayor on, aren't we, shortly?
Very
so
soon. Yep.
He might be able to help us with a little bit of the insight as to the, Mount Gambier's history and some of that volcanic activity. But the natural wonders in that area are just extraordinary. The Blue Lake.
I mean, that is just unique.
Like nothing else. And even the Little Blue Lake, I think, is just as good, if not better, as a tourist attraction, like to go and swim in and do things. You've got the Narracourt Caves, the Tantanoola Caves, which are even better, I reckon, than the Narracourt Caves, a little hidden gem. All of the sinkholes. Kilsby seems to be the one that gets a lot of media attention, but there's other little sinkholes and bits and pieces. Like, it's a natural wonderland, that area. Yeah,
well, the sinkholes are internationally renowned. There's no question about that.
Yep.
Look, we have the Mayor of Mount Gambier, Lynette Martin, on the line. Mayor, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Have we said anything out of line about Mount Gambier? I mean, is it underrated, do you think?
I think it potentially is, but you've certainly covered many of our wonderful aspects. And, Mount Gambier is South Australia's world-class regional capital, and it's ideally situated halfway between Adelaide and Melbourne, with a gateway to South Australia from the eastern states. And as you've just talked about, we are the land of volcanism, underground waterways, sinkholes and caves. Umfeston Sinkhole, Ballamball, is a major attraction. It's a sunken garden that you can enter into. Of course, our famous Blue Lake, which is our city's source of drinking water, and a true spectacle from November to April when it turns this magnificent blue.
Now, Lynette, can you tell us, how does that happen? Why does it change colour?
I believe it is something to do with the limestone in the base of the crater and the effect the sunshine has.
And it happens every year?
It does indeed. A glorious blue.
Yeah,
yes.
That's amazing.
And I mentioned, we are the land of underground waterways. And, we've got Engelbrett Cave, which is not far from the CBD of Mount Gambier. And scuba divers enter the waterways at this cave, and they can actually be under the main street and they can move right up to what is known as our cave garden area, which is a natural centre of the city. So, they can be underground there, exploring the waterways under our city. But, we've got, you've talked about our natural attractions, because we have the magnificent Valley Lake Precinct also, which is adjacent to the Blue Lake, and we have walking trails and mountain biking trails. But we've also got a wonderful recreation and convention centre, Wollonda, which council built during COVID, I might add, and it was officially opened in March 3 years ago, and it is the most magnificent centre, $62 million investment by the City of Mount Gambier in this multifaceted intergenerational facility. It has 4 pools, a splash zone. It's got 6 courts, meeting and convention facilities. It's probably the best facility that's type in regional Australia.
Lynette, previously I suggested that Mount Gambier perhaps isn't fairly assessed, and I say that incredibly respectfully because I love the region. I'd love your thoughts. Do you think tourism in the area is valued appropriately, or would you like to see that sector grow?
Oh, look, we're always looking to grow that sector because it's a very important economic contributor. Although the Limestone Coast is the largest visited region in South Australia, beating Barossa and Kangaroo Island at the moment. So, we're certainly gaining traction there.
But Lynette, the city itself, sorry to interrupt you, but the beautiful limestone buildings, etc. For whatever reason, when I speak to people, it's not necessarily about that. It's more so Mount Gambier being more of a transit type town, more so than one you go and stay in. But it's a beautiful city, I think. And again, I say it respectfully, but that's just what I hear.
Yep. Well, we are, we have a population of around 28,000 people. The Limestone Coast area is 60,000. Including us. And then when you look to Western Victoria, so we become a service centre for 130,000 people. So we are that large regional centre. And I think one of the things is when people do visit Mount Gambier, they're very pleasantly surprised by what they see.
Yeah.
It's a very modern regional city. There's no question about that.
I think it's got a great mix of those heritage buildings, Lynette, with a good buzz in the town. It's a good farming region. There's plenty of nice cafes. Again, look, I've repeated myself and I'm reluctant to do it again, but just an underrated regional city in my opinion.
Yes, well, and, we've got the Riddoch Arts and Cultural Centre, which is the largest regional art gallery in South Australia. We have the most magnificent library. And you might have heard about our Beacon Art project that we installed in the CBD in July last year. That has brought us great media attention. It is a sculpture. It's a mythical megafauna creature that represents zoological and geological past of creatures in our caves and sinkholes, and that was installed with. Majority of community loved it, but there was an element that perhaps it was a bit different for them to contemplate being in their city, but it has brought us great media attention, not only nationally but internationally. So Mount Gambier is really putting itself on the map.
No question about that. Lynette, thanks for sharing some stories about Mount Gambier with us. And might be incentive for people to take a trip down to Mount Gambier and enjoy everything that Mount Gambier has to offer. Yeah,
well done. Well represented. That was a good chat. In terms of natural wonders, I'd love to hear from our listeners in terms of where they've been in the world or nationally in Australia. How do the natural wonders of the southeast compare to perhaps some other areas that they've been, Graeme?
Yeah. Well, it is unique in that it's volcanic history. In fact, they're the youngest. It's the youngest volcano on Australia, evidently. That's why. There is still, because where the volcanoes have been before, they've eroded over thousands of years, but they're still very visible down in the southeast.
Yeah.
Any stories about Mount Gambier? Give us a call, 8223 0000. Back shortly.
Crows big man Riley O'Brien joins Rowie and Timmy G each week on the FIVEAA Sports Show.
Riley O'Brien!
Find out what's going on at Westlakes. Thanks to Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens Swear Jar Pledge. Riley O'Brien swears to bring you the latest Crows and AFL news.
The things you value deserve the best protection. Your car, your tools, your weekend projects. Alpha Industries garages and sheds will keep them safe from rain, hail and the harsh Australian sun. Made from genuine Australian blue scope steel and fully welded for strength and durability, built with you in mind. South Australian owned and operated for over 40 years, Alpha Industries builds garages and sheds that work as hard as you do. Explore the range and ask for a quote today at alphaindustries.com.au.
Unbox KFC's new lunchboxes. Satisfy your cravings for $5. Feed your hunger for $10 or demolish your appetite for $15. Leftovers could never. Only in SA and not forever. Pick up only until 2 p.m. No stops, please.
Are you dreaming of a holiday? Travel Auctions have been sending South Australians on holiday since 1972. Ned, what are we bidding on today?
Well, what about a midweek escape to Mount Gambier in the heart of the Limestone Coast? So book a studio, twin, queen room at the Federal Hotel. You've got modern rooms, an on-site bistro, with added inclusions too. So it's the perfect base to explore South Australia's stunning southeast. You get 3 nights, midweek accommodation for 2, daily brekkie to go, so a complimentary bottle of wine as well, free parking and more. It's valid right up until the 31st of March 2027. So if you're going, I can't quite go now, or, now's not the right time, or, I'm not quite ready, it doesn't matter. You've got so much time with this package, and you can make your decision in a couple of months. Normally, this package would be valued at $645. But with Travel Auctions, you decide the price. You just bid what you'd be prepared to pay. There's no hidden fees, just great deals.
Save on your next getaway, maybe to Mount Gambier. Don't pay full price. Visit travelauctions.com.au. Bid, win, go.
So you live on the gazillionth floor of an apartment building, and you were told no flies up here, mate. Guess what? They're wrong. Flies, mozzies, and even birds. How do you keep them out? How do you keep your pets in? Phantom Screens, that's how. Phantom Screens have retractable screen solutions for almost any situation. Single doors, sliding doors, stackers, you name it. Keep the creepy crawlies out and let the fresh air in. phantomscreens.com.au. Phantom Screens. Now you see it. Now you don't.
For seafood that looks and tastes like it came out of the ocean this morning, go to McGill's Fresh Seafood, because chances are it did. Find McGill's Fresh Seafood at the top of McGill Road in the McGill Village Shopping Centre. Owner Andy is originally from Port Lincoln with over 40 years of experience in the fishing and seafood retail industry. Fresh seafood bought daily from local suppliers, sourcing Australia-wide, then processed on site. Expect the best at McGill's Fresh Seafood. Bought today, sold today.
We love to see you CMI.
The next generation Hilux is in stock right now at CMI Toyota, SA's #1 selling Toyota dealer. Get in for great deals across the range, including brand new Hilux Workmate 4x2 with alloy tray from just $41,320 drive away. View the range at cmitoyota.com.au or visit CMI Toyota today.
We love to see you CMI.
Oh, what a feeling, Toyota.
5AA Mornings with Graeme Goodings.
And you're listening to On the Road with Ned McHenry, thanks to Travel Auctions. If you want to call in, tell us a story about Mount Gambier, something you like about it, one of the wonders. Any wonders around Australia that beat Mount Gambier? A question, Ned, that I reckon we'll ask. Some very famous people have been born in Mount Gambier, spent time there.
Yeah, right. Who comes to mind?
I'm not going to name it. I'm just to see if any of our listeners are across.
Good idea.
Famous Mount Gambier people.
There's something in the water down there. Is it? Maybe it's the Blue Lake.
It could be the Blue Lake. $100 travel voucher to give away to the best caller between now and 11:30.
Yeah.
Get to the phone, 8223 0000.
It was Gavin Wanganeen, was he or not?
He was, yeah, famous Port Adelaide and Essendon footballer.
You couldn't get excited about a Port Adelaide player, though, could you?
He was a very good, very terrific. No, I couldn't. But he was a brilliant footballer. He got a lot of free kicks that he probably didn't deserve. Yeah. Well, that'll get the Port Adelaide supporters going.
Great. If I've learnt one thing about this station is that if you lose your cool and you're not completely impartial towards the two state teams, our listeners will remind you of that very quickly. I made a comment about the Crows and didn't reference Port, I think, and we had about 6 texts straight away accusing me of being incredibly biased, which is probably true.
Well, I think that's fine. I mean, there are a lot of people who sort of say, oh, well, as long as it's a South Australian team, I'll go for the Crows and I'll go for Port. No, I'm not like that.
Yeah.
You've got a team and we're in the AFL, and, it's Crows or nobody, basically.
Love it. We've got a voucher, $100 travel options voucher. For anyone who can name someone of note from Mount Gambier, we'd love to hear from you.
Maybe the most famous person ever to leave Mount Gambier. Yeah, so you've got to phone up, though. I'm getting the text running hot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is there any surprising ones on the text line?
There is a surprising one there. I won't mention it because someone else might come on and say it, but yeah, there could be a former Prime Minister that that came from there. I don't know that he was born there. He certainly lived there, but someone will tell us.
Yeah.
Michael, good morning. What can you tell us?
James Morrison, the famous Australian jazz trumpeter.
You're dead right.
Yep.
And he's also got a school down there for jazz.
Does he really at Mount Gambier?
He certainly does. Good on you, Michael. Thanks for sharing that story with us. You are in the running for the $100 voucher. Yeah, James, that's one I didn't think of. James Morrison is a very famous musician, can play any instrument. One of those people that can sort of do anything. And
Yeah. No, fantastic. And as well, folks, natural wonders, if you do get a moment and you want to call up on those. We mentioned the caves, all of the limestone. I think the area is famous for natural wonders. So is there any area or anything that you've seen that's, you suspect is one of the best natural wonders you've ever seen, or something that we might not have heard of right around the country or right around the world? What compares to the Southeast natural wonders? Would love to know on that one as well.
Yeah, somebody suggested Bob Hawke, the Prime Minister, but he, in fact, I think he was from Border Town, which is, in the sort of rough area.
Is it Mount Gambier it'd be less than 50 Ks to Victoria, about 30 Ks?
To the border?
To the border. Mount Gambier?
Yeah, it wouldn't be much more than that.
Thank goodness we got it. Imagine if the Vic's got it. Oh, goodness.
I had a long-standing argument with my brother, but we were talking about the Coonawarra, which is down there. And he said the Victorian border should be moved so many Ks to the west so they could take our Coonawarra.
I just want to encroach on these Vics. The more we can get, let's get get the pegs out and let's do a survey, I say.
Mark, good morning.
Good morning. I was just thinking Sir Robert Helpman.
Aha, you've hit it right on the head. I don't know if there's any more famous Australian than Sir Robert Helpman. That's right. What was he famous? What was he famous for?
For acting, Festival of Arts, ballerina, dancing.
He was a ballet dancer, that's right. Yeah.
Ballet dancer in the Festival of Arts. While he's there, can I ask a question? There's one way you could do this petrol. Look, if you had a group of families, say, and you hired a minibus, that's one way of doing it. Yeah. Go to these country towns, but you have to have a good group so you can say, cut on the petrol. Everybody puts in a share of it. It's one way of doing it. I mean, it's hard. When you got petrol at those prices, it's going to be hard. I feel sorry for the caravan people. I really do.
Most certainly, yeah. I've heard reports that caravan parks are getting cancellations and bookings. People are sort of thinking, particularly, those further away. I mean, if you're going to Port Lincoln or Flinders or something like that,
definitely,
you're going to think twice.
Mark, you had a great answer there on a famous person coming out of Mount Gambier. Do you like the region? And any reflections on Mount Gambier yourself?
Yeah, I went into the sinkhole. But we did it at night, and we saw these little, I can't remember what little creatures there were in the hole, I don't know what they were actually. They were there coming out at night. No,
There's a turtle at the Kilsby sinkhole, a resident turtle, and it just cruises around.
No, but this sinkhole was like in the heart of town, sinkhole, I remember.
Yeah.
And then the Blue Lake, I remember that one. What else? And when you're coming into Mount Gambier, on your left-hand side, there's these timber structures somebody's done out of wood. They sculpted out of wood. I can't remember. I know we went past that. When you come in, the beautiful cricket ground, it looks like an English cricket ground with that white fence. I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
beautiful.
A few things I remember.
Well done, Mark.
There's something classically lovely about Mount Gambier. It's sort of got in some ways, a sort of an old English feel. Good on you, Mark. Thanks for your call. You are in the running for the $100 voucher.
Yeah, lots to like about Mount Gambier. Still a couple of minutes for another call. If anyone else has anyone coming out of Mount Gambier, can you please? You've teased me a little bit on someone. I know you've got someone else there.
There's a famous singer that comes out of Mount Gambier. But Sir Robert Helpman, of course, he was a ballet dancer. He was a choreographer. He was in a couple of movies. He was in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Way, way, way beyond your time. But when he was a ballet dancer, he was with Dame Margot Fontaine, who was a internationally renowned ballet dancer.
Yeah.
So, he was legendary. Harry, you have an answer to the sinkhole question.
Yeah, Umfeston sinkhole, Graeme, and they're possums.
Oh, Umfeston. Possums are there?
Yeah, Umfeston. Yeah, they're possums. Yeah, and if you go down with a banana and stuff like that, they'll come out. They come out, and it's absolutely beautiful. As a matter of fact, I'm a regular visitor to the Mount of Gambier, and I love it. And every time I'm driving there, as soon as you see the pine forest, I get a good feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just gives me a good feeling.
Well said, Harry.
And I've got to say, look, honestly, it's like every other square inch of this country, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful place, but I've got to be honest with you, fellas, I still get nervous around the volcano. I can't help it.
You're worried it's going to erupt. Well, I think you're pretty safe, Harry.
I can imagine you, Harry, with a banana in your hand, with the possums all around you while you're nervous about the volcano. There'd be lots going on, I think.
Good on you, Harry. Thanks for your call. You're on the running. Time for one more call. Craig, go ahead.
Yeah, how you going? Hey, I reckon there was Stephen Copping and Paul Weston from down that way too, wasn't it?
Stephen Copping, yeah, both Glenelg players. Yeah. Oh, no, and Paul Weston went on to play for Essendon.
Correct.
Yeah, well, you could be right. The other person I was going to mention who is famous is Casey Chambers.
Oh.
Legendary country western singer. Good on you, Craig.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Just about time to go. Well, we've found out some beautiful things about Mount Gambier and why it's a great place to visit.
Yeah, plenty of great calls. We can only give the voucher to one person. I've got someone in mind. You're the host, so you make the decision, but I hope it's him.
Look, the boss is Sam, the producer, and he's gone for Harry from Hallett Cove. Harry, a wonderful call. Congratulations. You've won the $100 voucher, and deservedly so too, I think.
Yeah.
That who you were thinking of?
Oh, anyone who provides some insight on how to lure possums out with a piece of fruit deserves a $100 travel options voucher. Simple as that.
Good on you, Ned. We'll see you next week.
See you then, Graeme. Thanks.
You've been listening to On the Road with Ned McHenry, thanks to Travel Auctions. Dreaming of a bargain holiday? Bid the price you want to pay. Travelauctions.com.au. Bid, win, go.
We always say sport, in particular AFL footy, is about heart. It can get your heart racing. It creates heart-stopping moments. Heart is at the heart of sport. It's also at the heart of medical science. Goals, tactics, disappointments. Keep trying, keep going, until a way to goal is found. The champion Sam Ree team of health and medical researchers are now part of the AFL Gather Round Festival of Football. Check out their Beating Heart light show every night during Gather Round. Sam Ree, the heart of healthy futures.
The Roller Door Doctor, this is Nurse Tracy.
I seem to have a little issue down south.
That's okay. We do all areas.
You do? Well, I can't seem to get it up anymore.
No problem. At the Roller Door Doctor, we do all types and brands of garage doors. So we can help you get it up again.
The Roller Door Doctor, helping SA get it up for over 30 years. Contact the Roller Door Doctor for garage door repairs, service and installation. therollerdoordoctor.com.au.
Our turn. Are you dreaming of a holiday, and why not? Travel Auctions have been sending South Australians on holiday since 1972. Ned, where are we bidding for? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Oh, there's lots to do, Graeme. But this week, it's all about Mount Gambier. So we heard about everything that there is to like, and there's lots there. So you can book a studio twin queen room at the Federal Hotel. They're modern rooms. You've got an on-site bistro, added inclusions. It's just the perfect base to explore the beautiful southeast. So things like Robe and places like that. If you want to go coastal, do that. But we just heard Mount Gambier is a destination in itself. You get 3 nights midweek accommodation for 2. You get daily brekkie to go, a complimentary bottle of wine on arrival, free parking and more. So valid until the 31st of March 2027. Plenty of time. Normally, this package would be valued at $645. But with Travel Auctions, you decide the price. Just bid what you'd be prepared to pay. No hidden fees, just great deals.
Save on your next getaway and don't pay full price. Visit travelauctions.com.au. Bid, win, go.
Harris Scarf Friends exclusive great brand sale is on now. Save 50% off full price cookware by Tefal and save 20% off full price Russell Hobbs. Sale ends soon, exclusions apply. See conditions online. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices.
This is FIVEAA News.